Okay, let's try this again. So, I'm kind of having one of those days where everything's just going wherever. So, I am going to be reading from chapter 3 today in Demented. Let's see. I'm going to do a recap. And let me see if I can. I don't know. I'm learning how to use this whole Facebook Live thing. All these different faces. It's kind of cool. Or the background. Oh, that's pretty. What's that? Hey. So, I'm just going to go with that. Okay, so in chapter 1, I'm going to do a recap of the first 2 chapters. And in chapter 1, you have the main character, Caleb Ross, who is on a birthday vacation getaway to Las Vegas with his girlfriend, Simone Dash. And he has an instant attraction to the check-in girl. Her name is Megan. His attraction is so intense that he decides that he is going to kind of, I hate to say stalker, but he's kind of being stalkerish, and he stalks her. So in chapter 1, he decides he's going to go down and just kind of check her out. And he's watching her as she works. She doesn't know this. By the end of chapter 2, he confronts her, but it's at a bad time. And she's trying to get home because her baby brother just died. Not baby, but her little brother just died. So she kind of grabs him by the balls and tells him to get a life, basically. So that doesn't deter him. He still pursues her. So where we left off is he jumps in a taxi to follow her taxi. But what he didn't know is that his girlfriend is also following. So she's watching also, and she sees what he's doing. So there's a triangle going on. So a caravan, taxis following this one person. So here we go, chapter 3, and it's called Determination. Caleb's taxi had been successful in following Megan's. He made him stop at a short distance past her stop. He was surprised to see so many people standing outside of what appeared to be her apartment home. He paid the driver and made his way down the block that led to the crowd standing outside an apartment complex. Simone's also ended her cab ride. She quickly paid the driver, stiffing him tip money, and left the cab abruptly. She watched Caleb approach the woman he had been following from the hotel. Megan was struggling to get through the crowd. People were blocking her. Caleb saw this as his chance to prove to her that their meeting meant more than the sensation between his legs each time he looked at her. He grabbed Megan by the arm and forcefully shoved his way through the crowd, abruptly stopping once he saw why people were too distracted to step aside. There, laying on the ground, was a young teenage boy. His body was contorted in a deathly pose, and a white sheet lay... Hold on a second. Gotta adjust this here. Lay over him. However, blood soaked through the sheet, adding to an already morbid sight. They couldn't move any closer. There was police tape everywhere. As he began to turn around to face her, she screamed out, pointing to the body on the ground. "You shouldn't see this." Caleb tried to turn her away, but she fought past him, crossing the police tape, which already alerted a nearby police officer. "Ma'am, please," the officer approached her. "No, that's my brother," she protested. The words pierced Caleb's heart like a dagger. He crossed the police tape, catching her as she fell to her knees to come to the realization that her brother was dead. "I'm sorry," Caleb whispered near her ear. "Sir, are you with her?" the police officer asked. "Yes," Caleb answered. It's kind of bold. Can you help her into the house? A detective is waiting to speak with her." The police officer lightly placed a hand on Megan's shoulder. "I'm sorry for your loss." He then walked away without saying another word. Caleb helped Megan to her feet. She leaned into him as he helped her walk up the stairs to her apartment. They were greeted by a gentleman who introduced himself as Detective Irvin Varga. Vega. No, it's Varga. Don't ask me where I get these names from. "I'm sorry for your loss," Detective Irvin spoke as they sat down at the kitchen table. He waited for some sort of reaction from Megan, but she stared blankly at him. He continued to speak. "Your brother was high on a new street drug a lot of teens are taking today." The police officer called by the neighborhood. Hold on, let me just read that one part over again. The police were called by the neighborhood because he was attempting to harm a 3-year-old child who felt he was disrespecting him because he was not addressing him by his proper title. "Proper title," Megan repeated, confused. He firmly believed that he was God and that he should be worshipped by all. Detective Irvin answered, "Normally, we simply take them in until they calm down or come down off the high and suggest a rehab center for them to join. Unfortunately, your brother had a gun. He began to shoot at the police, and the police shot back, wounding and killing him." "Do you think he felt any pain?" Megan asked, struggling to hold back her tears. "No, it happened quickly." "What do I do from here?" she cried. "Everything I do was for him. Ever since our mom died, I do everything for him." Caleb felt helpless. He had already overstepped his boundaries with her and didn't want to become a nuisance at this point. "What's going to happen now?" he asked the detective. "This is pretty much an open and shut case. When she is ready, she can go ahead and make the necessary arrangements. Here's my card," the Detective Irwin said, handing him a business card. "Have her call me when she's ready to get the information on which morgue her brother will be in." Caleb took the card and nodded in agreement. He glanced at Megan. She appeared as a hollow shell. He wanted to hold her more than anything now. Thinking back to hours before and realizing it was absolutely nuts that he felt this way for a complete stranger, he wondered if maybe he took a drug or was in some sort of dream state. It didn't make any sense. However, each time he looked at her beautiful face, he fell deeper in love with her. By the time the detective left, the neighborhood had been restored back to normal. The night's tragic event had soon become a distant memory. Although Megan was liked in the neighborhood, her brother was a menace. Megan wandered around her small apartment, methodically playing with any object that belonged to her brother. Caleb sat by the kitchen table quietly, waiting patiently for her to speak or acknowledge his presence. He didn't want to leave her alone, but felt that it wasn't right to violate her moment of solitude. Glancing down at the table, he found a notepad and pen. He wrote her a short note, leaving his phone number, email, and address, in hopes that she would contact him once she had felt better. He stood and approached her slowly. "Megan, I'm sorry for what happened here tonight, and I apologize for being so persistent. I saw something in you that I have never seen in any other woman before. I guess in my selfishness, I didn't take your feelings into consideration. I should have backed off when you made things clear to me how you felt about me pursuing you. I just want you to know that I'm not like this normally. I never or will I ever have the intention to cause you any type of harm. I left a note for you on the table. You can call me when you're ready, if you like. Take care." He started to make his way to the front door when he heard her voice. "Don't go," she said weakly. So that's the end of chapter 3. So yeah, Caleb's a little, he's different. Um, and so we'll just talk about Megan for a little bit. Megan she's young. As I said, her mother died young. Um, she was left to raise her little brother, which obviously he was a handful, as you see. And unfortunately, his life ended shortly. And so now she's worked her whole life for her little brother. And she's done everything for her little brother. And she doesn't know what to do now. She's lost at this point. So even though Caleb, things happen for a reason. Even though Caleb probably shouldn't have been there, he probably shouldn't have been pursuing her. Things happen for a reason, and he's actually in the right spot at the right time, just when she may need him. So Demented is a really interesting story, and I have fun writing it. I have fun writing all my books. But I'm just going to read the 3 chapters, and then I'm going to go on to the next book in the next video I do. I think that I will read from, well, I don't know. You tell me which book you'd want to hear from. We have Endurance. You have basically the Endurance series. I have Demented. Feral, I think I could only read so many chapters of Feral, and because Feral is kind of a naughty book. I have Affiance. Affiance is very interesting. It's kind of weird. It kind of is like it's based off the Egyptian story of Osiris. So Egyptian mythology is really strange. And this book follows that. So, but you tell me. I also have Forbidden. And actually, maybe I might read from Forbidden. Right now, you can get the first 3 books of Forbidden for free right now. They're on sale. And I might read from there, or I might read from Endurance. So you tell me which ones you'd like to hear from. And if you have any questions, please post them. I'm going to send the links to the books if you want to read these books on your own. Thank you for tuning in. Thank you for your time. And I hope you have a wonderful, wonderful day. Bye-bye. I don't know.